How do you start your day? I'm just curious.
I read a proverb of the day.
A proverb of the day. How do you
Yeah.
do it?
GFC fan. Hope everybody's doing good. Everybody's blessed. Got the lights low with some lights because I'm recording in the evening. So just wanted to have a mellow type session, if you will. Bryce Crawford. Bryce Crawford, one of my favorites. Love the shirt. I hate Satan. I could double down on that and double back for you. I do appreciate that. Let's hear what Bryce has to say.
Well, this is going to be a good conversation. How do you start your day? I'm just curious.
I read a proverb of the day.
A proverb of the day. How do
Yeah.
you do it?
So there's 31 proverbs in the book of Proverbs, and there's normally 31 months in a month.
31 days in a month.
Whatever day it is, read the proverb of that day. It's book of wisdom.
Right on.
There's some great.
Challenge accepted. Since we don't know what day it is that you're going to be looking at this, we're going to start at Proverb 1. Let's take a look here. All right. Let me read this. Proverb 1, the beginning of knowledge. Now, I saw this. I have went through the book of Proverbs. I never thought of doing a proverb a day. I think that's a really awesome way to approach the Proverbs. Proverbs, God gives us blueprints to life. And I think Proverbs, the Bible, obviously, basic instructions before leaving earth, but the Proverbs are really, each book of the Bible will help build out a certain part of a character. This one kind of just gives you the rules of engagement, the rules to become wiser. So the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. Notice how those three go together: justice, judgment, and equity. To give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Man, imagine as a young man getting that knowledge and discretion. Also, in our older ages, we need some knowledge and discretion, but imagine if you would have obtained it earlier, right? So, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning. So, a wise man's going to hear and he's going to increase learning, and from that learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. So this wise man, so it kind of shows you as a youth, gain knowledge and discretion, and then you become a wise man, and you're going to hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will obtain wise counsel. So as you increase learning, you're going to naturally obtain wise counsel, because you're going to see some of this counsel. A lot of us got circles of counsel we got no parts of being a part of, no parts of even sharing things that are going on in our lives, to maybe lifelong friends, family members, people that we know, work associates, coworkers who aren't even wise counsel. There's no point of even bouncing off the ideas, right? And so let's keep going. So, and a man, I just love that. And a man of understanding will obtain wise counsel. And the reason why is I'm always going to go back to Psalm 1 on you guys all the time. One of my favorite verses in the Bible has been so for a very long time, because I can read it over and over and over again. But I'm just going to share the first verse here in Psalms 1 is, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, right? So you get rid of that counsel, and you get, and a man of understanding will obtain wise counsel. And so you get that good counsel. To understand a proverb and an enigma, the words of the wise and their riddles, right? Proverbs has a lot of words of wisdom and a lot of riddles of wisdom. So you can kind of marinate on those and kind of take your time with them. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Notice that The fear of the Lord, like before, just to get in entry level, you want to get in the game entry level. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of understanding. So if you don't have the fear of the Lord, then you're not going to have that understanding that you need. You can't go anywhere else. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So you can see that apart from God is a fool, and that fool is going to despise wisdom and instruction. And you can see this verse already is, sorry, it's backwards on the mouse. This verse already is starting to give you a recipe, right? This is a recipe on how to live life. If you just became a Christian and you want to know how to, you want to have a good regime of laws and rules and everything to live by on how to speak and the situational kind of awareness as a Christian, how to act, I would read Proverbs. And that's what we're doing. We're doing the Bryce Crawford Proverb Challenge. And this is day 1, Proverbs 1. And let's continue to go on. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but the fools despise wisdom and instruction. And the second part of Proverbs is shun evil counsel. There we go again. See that? Proverbs 1, if you look, Psalms 1, if you look here, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, right? So who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly? Proverbs was saying, hey, you want to get knowledge, right? Shun evil counsel. My son, hear the instruction of your father. Do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. And I looked up what that was for the law of your mother. And I was like, well, what is the law of your mother if it's not the law of God, right? Is this something that's separate? What is this? And I kind of looked it up, and what it is if you had the opportunity and your mother taught you things that aligned with God's word, but she had kind of her own, everybody has their own characteristics, right? Their own gifts or their own sayings. And if they line up with the word, the line of God, they will tell you how to act in certain situations. Or, your mom might be big on like not making a scene or being polite or being this or that. The law of your mother, right? And instructions of your father. For they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. So they're just saying that these are the jewels, right? You see a lot of the rappers out there, they got all them jewels on and their mouth spitting reckless, right? It's, unwise counsel. But this is saying, hey, look, you take the instructions of your father, the law of your mother, and they're going to be ornaments on your head and chains about your neck. Like, this is the real jewelry that you need to be wearing. This is the real, if you want to flex, this is the Christian flex, right? That you need. My son, if sinners entice you, speaking of the hip hop industry, right? My son, if why does this keep going like this? My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait to shed blood. Let us lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol. And the whole, like those who go down to the pit, we shall find all kinds of precious possessions. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in your lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your foot from their path. For their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. but they lie in wait for their own blood. They lurk secretly for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes the life of its owners. That could be so true. You look nowadays, people they will throw away their life. They're sitting in jail. I just saw a video the other day where they were teaching, there was a scammer that made scam music, and he was teaching the little kids his lyrics to his song about scamming, and they were all singing his lyrics. And it's sad because what he's teaching is, so are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. He's teaching children to take away their life for greed and gain. And then also missing the verse where Jesus said, hey, look, when he was sitting around, there was kids. You're going to hear me use this verse a lot, but I'm going to use it when it needs to be applied properly, right? When Jesus saw there was kids around, he was preaching, and he said, if you cause one of these little children to sin, it'd be better if a millstone were tied around your neck and you were thrown into the deepest part of the ocean. And how have we even discovered the deepest part of the ocean? Do we have a video? Are we still trying to even get there? And the pressure that is at that deepest part of the ocean. I mean, having a millstone tied around your neck, not being able to move, being stuck there. He said it would be better if you were there than if you were to make one of these children sin. So they're not ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. And the call of wisdom. Let's go here. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open squares. She cries out the chief concourses at the openings of the gates in the city. She speaks her words. How long, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? For scorners delight in their scorning. And fools hate knowledge, right? There's that knowledge, because fools that hate the knowledge, they don't get the wise counsel. They don't want to obtain it. The young men don't give the discretion. So wisdom is telling you right now, turn at my rebuke. Surely I will pour out my spirit onto you. I will make my words known to you. Because I have called and you have refused. I have stretched out my hand and no one regarded. Because you disdained all my counsel and will have none of my rebuke. I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your terror comes. When your terror comes like a storm and your destruction comes like a whirlwind. And I could tell you, in Texas, we just had some huge storms, some flooding, and last month there was a couple of tornado warnings. So when your terror comes like a storm, depending on where you're at in the country, you've felt that storm just shake the house. When your terror comes like a storm and your destruction comes like a whirlwind, when your distress and anguish comes upon you, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but they will not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So you can't have knowledge without the fear of the Lord. So that's what you see a lot of people in the world. They're smart. They're intelligent. They're worldly intelligent, right? But if they don't have that knowledge of the fear of the Lord, they're just book smart. They just know things by studying pretty much God's creation, or believing what they want to believe, but they don't have that knowledge and they hate it. And they did not choose the fear of the Lord. They're going to seek them and they're going to seek me diligently, but will not find me. That's a scary thing. Could you imagine calling on God and him just not answering? Them saying that they're also, after they call on them, they're going to look for him. Like, where's God at? But they're not going to find him, because they hated knowledge and they did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would have none of my counsel and despise my every rebuke. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their own way. and shall be filled to the full with their own fancies. For the turning away of the simple will slay them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me, here's wisdom again. Whoever listens to me will dwell safely and will be secure without the fear of evil. So interesting. So much to unpack right there. That's just giving you the basics. That's the introduction to Proverbs and wisdom, and if you want to get it, and letting you know, like, here's the recipe to get it. Here's the blueprint. You could follow it, but look, you could get out of line and misstep and miss your calling and miss where you're supposed to be by doing certain things, right? And it'll tell you what'll disqualify you right here. They would have none of my counsel and despise my every rebuke. So if the Lord rebukes you, if the Lord is counseling you, if you don't want to choose the fear of the Lord, there is, it's like a blueprint as well. Like, well, you don't have to follow the blueprint for knowledge. You can get the other blueprint, right? And we all know where that leads. And it's saying right here, just turn at my rebuke and I'll pour my spirit out on you. But to those who don't, it says later on, hey, I stretched out my hand and no one regarded. So there is there's a lot to unpack here. And I just kind of unpacked it with you in real time. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. If you don't, hey, read it for yourself, read the whole thing, take it in, soak it in. I like to read the Word of God like this, where I think about it, I take it in its context, I apply it to my life, I try to see what it's saying. I obviously found that, it talked a lot about wise counsel, and then I found my favorite verse in Psalms 1 where it didn't, it talked about people who don't sit in the counsel of the ungodly. So here's the thing for wise counsel, and we can close on this because I think wise counsel is important. Look around today and see who you're getting counsel from, right? And it says, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. So if you're not walking, it says, blessed is the man who's not walking in the counsel of the ungodly, and a wise man will hear and increase learning, and the man of understanding will obtain wise counsel. And so if you are to obtain wise counsel, you must fire the counsel you must file the counsel of the ungodly, right? So some of us have to fire, and some of y'all may be like, well, everybody in my life's good. It's all Gucci and Gabbana. Like, everybody that I get information from, well, maybe you need to look at the social media feed. Maybe there's some people that you look up to, that you get advice from, that they give you advice on how to treat women, or maybe how they treat women, how they speak, how they do things in the world. But they're giving you this, motivational advice. But at the same time, this is coming from the counsel of the ungodly. According to God, that's not the way to perceive the words of understanding, to receive instruction of wisdom. And that's Proverbs 1, the Bryce challenge that we did today. I hope that blesses y'all, and I hope you guys like that. I think that was cool. I heard him say this and I was like, let's do the Bryce challenge then. Day 1, Proverbs 1, let's get it in.